Chapter 81 Reality Gem, Black Wings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Malekith fought back, but a powerful force field seized control of his body, paralyzing him. The mind gem materialized around Su-Mu, emitting a subtle yellow glow, and Malekith's senses exploded. The slightest sensation, like the fabric of his clothes against his skin, became excruciating, akin to being sliced to pieces slowly. Su-Mu tapped Malekith, unleashing a surge of energy from the ground. It began dismantling him bit by bit, all while he remained conscious, unable to even pass out. He was forced to experience his body dissolving, each agonizing moment searing into his soul. He wanted to scream, but the mind gem held him captive. Even as his muscles convulsed in agony, he couldn't make a sound. Su-Mu smiled, watching Malekith's face contort in horror. Then, with a slight push of his palm, a devastating force obliterated the Dark Elf warship. The wreckage spiraled into the void, hurtling beyond Asgard into the endless cosmic abyss. With Malekith dealt with, Su-Mu sensed something and turned to Jane Foster, a smile spreading across his face. The reversal technique had finally extracted the ether from Jane Foster. Su-Mu reached out, and the crimson fluid of the ether was drawn from her body. As it separated completely, she lost consciousness. Touching Jane, Su-Mu instantly healed the damage within her. Then, he focused the reversal technique on the ether. Without a host, it was easily manipulated, its energy activity dwindling, becoming more concentrated. He compressed the ether rapidly, gathering it at the tip of his index finger. In moments, all the particles coalesced into a radiant red gem. The reality gem was now his. Beyond its boundless energy, the reality gem could bend reality itself, even if temporarily. With his strength restored, Su-Mu absorbed the gem's energy directly. Energy point +1. Energy point +1. Energy point +1. The system alerts flooded his mind as his energy points surged. Su-Mu channeled them into system fusion, which visibly increased. Within minutes, system fusion surpassed 10% and kept climbing. He pushed it until his body teetered on exhaustion. System fusion degree, 13%. Reaching 10% had unlocked a new skill. System fusion degree, 10%. You unlocked a new skill, Unknown Wings, Black. Unknown Wings, Black LV1, 1 out of 100. Manipulate the phase power in space to form black wings, greatly enhancing the user's strength. Black wings erupted from Su-Mu's back, and his power surged. He felt accelerators precise, computer-like calculations sharpen, and his vector manipulation became even more potent. Even Gojo Satoru's abilities, fully integrated with him, experienced a boost. Spreading his black wings, Su-Mu found them more controllable than accelerators. Even at level 1, he could manifest them at will, without succumbing to rage like Accelerator. His wings were solid, tangible, unlike Accelerator's vortex-like appendages. Satisfied with his progress, Su-Mu wondered what higher-level black wings, white wings, colorless wings, platinum wings, or even the final abyss state would look like. The black wings flared out to 10 meters, and Su-Mu shattered the sound barrier, soaring into the heart of Asgard. He found Thor and Frigga huddled around a one-eyed old man. The 6 eyes revealed the old man radiating energy like the sun. His power rivaled the Sorcerer Supreme, but his aging body was struggling to contain it. Seeing Su-Mu's return, Thor rushed to embrace Jane Foster, whom Su-Mu held casually, relieved to find her safe, and realizing Su-Mu had extracted the ether, Thor expressed his gratitude. Su-Mu, thank you. You defended Asgard from the Dark Elves and healed Jane. You'll always be Asgard's greatest friend. Su-Mu smiled. No need to thank me. It was a deal. Don't expect discounts just because we're friends. Before Thor could reply, Odin carefully observed Su-Mu, then exclaimed. Incredible, young man. Your power rivals mine and continues to grow. If you weren't a mutant, I'd think you were a dimensional lord. Odin saw in Su-Mu infinite power, infinite potential, unlike anything he'd ever witnessed. Given time, Odin believed, the young man could become a force on a cosmic scale. Odin continued, soldiers, bring out the 3 treasures. Several soldiers entered, bearing artifacts radiating immense energy. The eternally burning eternal flame, the frost box emitting glacial cold, and the exquisite Infinity Gauntlet. Odin said with a gentle smile, "This is the reward Thor promised. Asgardians honor their debts even if it was a transaction. You saved Asgard." As Thor said, "Midgardian, you'll always be Asgard's valued friend." Sumu pocketed the treasures without hesitation, then smiled at the frail yet powerful Odin. Of course. After settling matters in Asgard, Sumu bid farewell to Thor and returned to his Earth villa through a portal, but as he arrived, his 6 eyes detected several figures emitting intense energy speeding toward him. He smirked. This could be fun. Chapter 82 The Eternals are coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The beach villa Sumu bought had the prime location, perfect for catching the sunrise. Just beyond the distant horizon, where the sky kissed the sea, the sun was cresting, painting the world in shades of red. It was a scene begging for quiet appreciation, shattered by a rapidly approaching spaceship. Sumu waded into the ocean. He loved the villa, but he wasn't about to let a fight wreck it. In the distance, a bizarre spaceship hurtled towards him. Unlike streamlined spacecrafts, this one was all sharp angles, its hull covered in dense runes, as if the markings themselves powered it. Inside, the Earth Eternals, clad in their armor, were united in their mission, vengeance for Ikaris. Since Ikaris' death, they'd been relentless in their pursuit. They couldn't tolerate that Ikaris, their most powerful warrior, had fallen to the mutants. Those mutant descendants. Analyzing the situation, they feared a direct confrontation with Sumu would lead to their annihilation, so they initially sought an alliance with S.H.I.E.L.D. But during their contact, the Druid, an Eternal with mind control abilities, discovered S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were under the control of a powerful psychic presence. This mind control was so strong that even the Druid was outmatched. Unsure of the source of this terrifying power, they knew continuing to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. was a bad idea. As they grappled with their stalled revenge plans, a green-skinned humanoid with a gigantic head appeared, detailing the White Devil's crimes and offering his help. After the Druid's mind scan, they confirmed that despite the lies, this Big Boss was indeed an enemy of the White Devil and could provide assistance. Accepting the Big Boss's offer set the present hunt in motion. Armed with the Big Boss's anti-White Devil weapons and a mutually assured destruction failsafe, they were confident in their success. At a military base, Colonel Stryker and Mr. Fantastic, along with 3 other doctors, watched the impending battle via satellite surveillance. The Big Boss had contacted the Eternals and provided them with equipment specifically designed for the White Devil. This included an upgraded mutant ability suppression device, a space disruption device, and matter decomposition lightsabers, all developed in their labs. However, their aim wasn't to see the White Devil dead. Unlike the Eternals, they understood the true horror of the White Devil. Their simulation suggested even a team of Eternals as strong as Ikaris, utilizing the ultimate failsafe, might only have a chance of killing the White Devil. As things stood, even sacrificing themselves wouldn't be enough. Their goal was to record how the upgraded equipment affected the White Devil, gather as much information as possible, and then use that data to enhance the Red Giant. It was their last resort. They predicted that in a desperate attempt to win, the Eternals would trigger the failsafe, sacrificing their lives and providing invaluable data. For these geniuses, data meant power. Knowledge is power, not a cliché, but a truth. Sumu continued waiting until he was roughly 300 miles from his villa. At this distance, the upcoming fight shouldn't affect it. He stopped, watching the pursuing spaceship come to an abrupt halt. Defying inertia, a woman in green armor teleported onto the water. The moment she touched the surface, the sea around her transformed. Starting from her feet, the water solidified rapidly, forming an island in mere seconds. This Eternal was Circe, with the power of matter transmutation. The remaining Eternals disembarked onto Circe's new island, Thena, who could conjure weapons from cosmic energy, Water Elf, Master of Illusions, Mac-Carry, the Speedster, Gilgamesh, with his immense strength, Golden Fruit, who projected cosmic energy blasts, Phastos, the blacksmith with his hammer, Druid, the telepath, and finally, Ajak, the healer. These were the eternal warriors sent by the Celestials to protect humanity and usher in the new gods. Individually, they possessed terrifying power. Together, they could easily rule the earth. Their combined strength could overwhelm even Thanos. For millennia, they had operated independently, slaughtering deviants to protect humans, never launching a coordinated attack. Now, they faced a descendant of those same deviants, a mere mutant they once dismissed. Yet Sumu seemed strangely calm, as if he were the one surrounding them. Jack, as leader, spoke first. "Humble mutant, you killed one of the great Eternals. Now you pay the price," Sumu scoffed. "The great Eternals? Just pawns of the Celestials, brainwashed and sent into battle. You." Jack stammered, thrown off by Sumu's words. Like Ikari's, she couldn't understand how a mutant knew secrets that were hidden from other Eternals. The druid immediately sensed Jack's unease and realized Sumu was telling the truth. He looked at Jack in shock, but she silenced him. "After we defeat the White Devil, I'll explain everything." Jack cut off further conversation, activating the devices provided by the big boss. The space disruption device flickered erratically, preventing Sumu from creating portals. The same applied to the mutant suppression device. They each drew lightsabers, their matter-disintegrating blades crackling with deadly energy. They were determined to kill the White Devil. Chapter 83, Reversal of the Technique, Level 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 83, Reversal Unleashed, Level 4. Sumu felt a shift the instant the space disruptor and mutant suppressor kicked in. The constantly fluctuating frequencies of the devices prevented him from adapting. Even when his 6 eyes could instantly compensate, the relentless changes caused his internal energy to spiral out of control again the next moment. The randomness of the frequency shifts was the real problem, forcing Sumu into a never-ending loop of adaptation and instability, preventing his energy from ever truly settling. He found himself looking forward to a chat with Mr. Fantastic, the brain behind these devices. Controlling him with the Mind Stone would be a real blast. Under Jack's orders, the Eternals swarmed him. Makari, the speedster, took the lead, brandishing a lightsaber. Even with 6 eyes tracking her, she was unbelievably fast, far surpassing Quicksilver, but as she closed in, a burst of repulsive force sent her flying. Hit by the miniature supernova effect of the black-red singularity, she broke the sound barrier and crashed into the sea. Makari, witnessing her friend's defeat, Gilgamesh channeled all his cosmic energy into augmenting his strength. His fist glowed gold as he charged Sumu. At the same time, Thena crafted a spear of pure cosmic energy and joined Gilgamesh. With the space disruptor interfering with his abilities, the two Eternals saw an opening. Fist and spear converged, poised to strike. But Sumu ignored their attacks, the deadly spear and the reinforced fist. He extended an index finger in each of their directions, and black-red singularities materialized on his fingertips. The Eternal strikes landed, but the blows that could easily crack Thanos' armor were useless. The massive energy was instantly absorbed by Sumu. To their disbelief, he unleashed reversal on them, sending them flying. Jack regarded Sumu with concern. "How can you still absorb energy? The suppressor should be working." Sumu flashed her a grin. "These frequency shifts are a pain, but with a little focus, I can override them for short bursts." Jack sent a message to the Eternals, "Try the matter-disintegrating lightsabers." Makari, recovered, sped back into the fray, only to be repelled again. While dodging Makari's attacks, Sumu casually addressed Jack, "Don't want me to talk? Afraid the others will find out you've been lying to them? Fighting for centuries, only to have your memories wiped every few thousand years, and your targets aren't even real deviants, just low-grade drones. Enough." Jack snapped, but it was too late. The Eternals had heard him. They weren't fools. They knew something was up with Jack, otherwise, why silence him? They stopped their attack and turned to Jack. "Jack, what are you hiding from us? Our mission isn't to protect Earth, it's to pave the way for a new Celestial's birth." The worst-case scenario was unfolding. The information caused them to question their duties. If not handled carefully, their team would dissolve. Jack responded immediately, "We'll discuss this later. We need to take down the White Devil. We can't coexist. If we don't kill him, he'll kill us." Before they could react, a voice cut through the air. You're right. You need to give it everything you've got. This is your only shot. The Eternals turned to see Sumu floating above them, a cruel grin on his face. He made a complex hand gesture and announced, "Domain expansion, infinite void." Druig. Recognizing the gesture, they realized what was happening and shouted a warning. The big boss's intel included everything about the White Devil. That gesture meant he was about to unleash a powerful psychic attack, locking down the movements of everything within its radius. Inside the domain, all his abilities would be guaranteed hits. But they had a counter. The Eternals immediately spread out, forming a ring around Druig. As runes spread across the ground, the other Eternals' energy flowed through them, focusing on Druig and amplifying his powers. Supercharged by the combined strength of the Eternals, Druig was now incredibly powerful. Even Ikaris would have a hard time against him. Druig unleashed his mind control ability, clashing with Sumu's infinite void. Zzzzzzzzz. Electricity crackled in the air. Like two domains colliding in a jujitsu battle, Druig's power crashed against Sumu's, ultimately nullifying its effects. But just as they sighed in relief, they saw the White Devil vanish and reappear next to Phastos on the edge of the group. A swirling purple orb materialized in his hand, and he slammed it into Phastos's chest. The advanced suit, comparable to adamantium, shattered before the orb, and the imaginary mass ripped through Phastos's defenses. Purple energy spread from the wound, consuming his body. "Stop!" The Eternals attacked at once, but Sumu took a step, evading them easily. He reappeared at his original spot, holding Phastos's head. He grinned. "Feeling so proud just now?" "No. Let him go." "You bastard, release Phastos." Seeing their comrade held hostage, the Eternals lost their composure and threatened Sumu, but Sumu's palm crackled with black and red energy unlike anything before. The compressed force crushed Phastos's head. Amid the curses and howls of the Eternals, the system notification rang in his ears. Reversal experience +1. Congratulations, your skill reversal has been upgraded. Chapter 84 White Spell Reversal, a True Supernova. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 84, The White Spell Unleashed, He's a Supernova. The system's skill power scales like crazy. At level 1, the skills are weak compared to what the original character could do, but at level 3, the skills are on par with the original. And at level 4, they blow past the original, reaching a whole new level of power. During the previous fight, Sumu kept spamming the He reversal, grinding his skill. Finally, it leveled up. A flood of memories rushed into Sumu's mind. Even with his level 4 and 6 eyes, absorbing it all was a struggle. Just a taste of the memories seriously juiced up his He reversal. Before, even a direct hit from He wouldn't do much to the Eternals' insane defense. Maybe a scratch, nothing fatal, basically, only could really hurt them, but after the upgrade, everything flipped. The He reversal got so strong so fast that Sumu couldn't contain the power leaking out. Boom! Black and red lightning crackled around him, pure, concentrated repulsion in its rawest form. A massive repulsive force exploded under his feet, instantly vaporizing Circe's island and sending it to the bottom of the ocean. The force pushed the seawater away from Sumu in all directions, creating a sphere of empty space 100 meters wide around him. Every time a bolt of black-red lightning hit the sea, it annihilated dozens of cubic meters of water. Makari tried to speed blitz him with a matter-disintegrating lightsaber, but the dense black and red lightning repelled her before she got close, leaving her bleeding where it struck. Jingua, energy manipulator extraordinaire, yelled, "We have to take him down now. His power is growing for some reason." Jack's mind flashed to the White Devil's intel. The White Devil has almost no power ceiling. He's constantly getting stronger, and the rate is accelerating. Mutant descendant. Can they really do this? Jack stared in disbelief at the white demon surrounded by black and red lightning, at energy levels eclipsing even Ikaris, their strongest warrior. Even worse, it was still climbing. She snapped an order to the Eternals, attack. Before he gets used to this power, Speedster Makari charged again, pushed back on her first try by the lethal lightning. She poured everything she had into her speed, pushing it even further. After a brutal run, she finally dodged the lightning and broke through the repulsion field, lightsaber ready to stab. But then, the white demon locked his eyes on her again. Then, a wave of repulsive force exploded from the white demon, way stronger than before. As if he was deliberately unloading, the power washed out in all directions, annihilating everything. Makari, who was the closest, was instantly battered. Even her armor, made of something comparable to adamantium, was visibly damaged. She went flying backward at Mach speed, slamming into the water spirit. The impact shattered its hand, not designed for frontal combat. After swatting Makari away, Sumu finally got a grip on his level 4 He reversal. The He reversal, second only to in sheer power, now had a base power double that of the Tsang reversal. Level 4 Tsang could create a black hole. What would a He at least twice as strong do? Lightning continued to erupt around him, but Sumu stopped holding back. He wanted to see the absolute limit of his power. 3 infinity stones flew out of his pocket dimension. Yellow, blue, and red, they spun around him, radiating immense energy that he greedily absorbed. Looking at the Eternals before him, Sumu grinned and raised his right arm to the sky. He started to bring the wild lightning under control, focusing it to a point above his palm. As the black and red lightning condensed, a black-red singularity formed, rapidly growing, its color shifting towards light red and white. Initially, Tsang was blue, and he was black-red, but as they got stronger, Tsang turned black, approaching the power of a black hole, and now, he was becoming white, threatening to turn into a supernova. It looked like Sumu was holding a real supernova in his hand. Even untamed, the repulsive force was already pushing away the seawater for miles, exposing the seabed. The massive waves formed by the force affected all the surrounding countries. Even the Ancient One sensed the terrifying energy and appeared to deal with the tsunami that threatened millions of lives. The Ancient One, standing in the void, smiled helplessly in Sumu's direction. I knew it would come to this. Far away in Asgard, Odin, in the middle of a conversation with Frigga, suddenly turned and looked towards Midgard. An extremely complex expression crossed his face, then he muttered, "What a terrifying young man." Stryker and his team, monitoring the battle, saw the energy readings on their instruments and went pale. They couldn't believe it. This is impossible. Impossible. Facing the supernova-like He reversal, a Jack panicked. Quick! Inject the red giant serum. Each Eternal pulled out a tube of crystal red serum and injected it using an adamantium pin. Their skin visibly flushed, and the cosmic energy and gamma rays within them reacted, amplifying their physical prowess to even greater heights. Even with all that, they were still ants facing a supernova. The next moment, the supernova ripped through space and hurtled toward them. It was like the sky was falling. P.S. Supernova. Keep reading. Tomorrow, the climax arrives. Chapter 85, Kill the Eternals, the first level 5 skill. Please read on. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 85, Kill the Eternals, unlock my first level 5 skill. As the spell reversal he collapsed, thousands of meters of surrounding seawater vanished, creating a massive tsunami. If the Sorcerer Supreme hadn't constantly managed the dissipating energy, Sumu's attack would have destroyed several cities and even small countries with its aftershocks. Even the Eternals, enhanced by the red giant serum, couldn't withstand such a devastating red and white supernova. They were hammered to the ocean floor by the immense force. The silty seabed was compressed relentlessly, sinking hundreds of meters and transforming into an incredibly hard material. The Eternals were pinned by the overwhelming pressure, unable to move on this newly formed, ultra-dense surface. Even with their physical enhancements from the red giant serum, they couldn't break free. Every struggle only made the ground sink further, creating massive cracks that immediately healed under the intense pressure, forming an even tougher structure. This cycle repeated until the seabed's material became something entirely new, an unyielding substance that the Eternals couldn't destroy. No, not even a Jack, known for her composure, couldn't stay calm as the supernova hurtled down. The immense pressure was breaking the Eternals down. Even the weakest water sprites were on the verge of death. Despite the risk of injecting the red giant serum, they couldn't escape their fate. Gritting her teeth, a Jack made a decision, addressing her companions with grief and rage. Everyone, give all your power to Circe. Otherwise, the White Devil will kill us all. Our only hope is Circe. She must avenge us by killing him. A Jack's skin was flushed, her face contorted, muscles twitching, bleeding and unable to break free from the crushing pressure. She no longer resembled the powerful leader of the Eternals, but a grotesque, writhing bug. Hearing a Jack's plea, the Eternals understood their predicament. They couldn't survive the pressure. Their only chance was to transfer their power to Circe, hoping she could avenge them. It was their only option. Blinding energy flowed from the Eternal Warriors into Circe. Realizing what was happening, Circe cried out in despair. No, don't do this. We can all survive. That she had already lost Ikaris and couldn't bear to lose anyone else, but she was helpless. As the energy transfer continued, Eternals began to succumb. The weakest water sprite was the first to go, her body collapsing, staining the seabed red. Phastos and the Druid quickly followed, crushed into shapeless masses. The supernova finally reached them, and more Eternals perished: Kingo, Thena, Gilgamesh. The once arrogant Eternals were slaughtered without resistance. Finally, the supernova struck. A wave of repulsive force exploded outward, engulfing everything within a radius of miles, painting the blue ocean with a touch of white. The seawater was obliterated by the repulsive energy, even breaking down water molecules into their basic hydrogen and oxygen atoms. The ground shook violently for hundreds of miles, a man-made disaster. Coastal cities felt the brunt. The earth trembled, cracks appeared everywhere, and people stared in confusion at the dazzling light emanating from the ocean depths. They were helpless, insignificant creatures at the mercy of forces beyond their comprehension, left to pray for salvation. Seeing the earthquake intensify, the Sorcerer Supreme gazed at the ocean's depths with a complex expression, her eyes seemingly piercing through space to focus on the white demon standing in the void. How long has it been? She murmured. She then performed a series of intricate hand movements, and the phenomenon of glass shattering rapidly expanded, engulfing the surrounding hundreds of kilometers. As the shattering effect reached Sumu, he immediately sensed the spatial distortion. Mirror dimension. Sumu wasn't surprised that the Sorcerer Supreme used the mirror dimension. He had reached the level of a celestial being. Unleashing his full power could even destroy the planet. Even the aftermath of their battle could kill countless innocents. The kind Sorcerer Supreme would never allow that, so she was using the mirror dimension to isolate their fight, ignoring Circe, whose vital signs flickered between faint and strong. Sumu focused his 6 eyes to analyze the mirror dimension. His aptitude for magic was lacking. He had tried to study the mirror dimension on his own but had failed. Now, the Sorcerer Supreme was giving him an excellent opportunity to learn. He tracked the energy flows within the mirror dimension, his understanding growing with each analysis. Finally, after a few minutes, he heard a system notification. You have gained a new skill, Mirror Dimension. Mirror Dimension LV1, 1/100. Create a temporary spatial dimension, isolated from reality. Events within will not affect the real world. Finally mastering the mirror dimension, Sumu grinned. The effects of the spell reversal he finally subsided. The Eternals were almost completely wiped out. A bloodied figure shot out of the churning water, glaring at Sumu with extreme hatred. Damn mutants, damn White Devil. You lowly mutant bastard, cowardly earthling. You killed Ikaris, the water sprite, a Jack, Thena, I'll kill you. I'll annihilate your soul. Consumed by hatred, Circe, the once elegant Eternal, had lost her mind, roaring into the air. She had absorbed the power of the other Eternals and mutated into a red giant under the influence of the red giant serum. Her body glowed red, and golden cosmic energy crackled around her. She resembled Sumu, but unlike him, she seemed unable to handle the power. Her flesh kept collapsing and reforming to maintain balance. In this distorted state, her power was immense, capable of withstanding the supernova to some degree. She could defeat the White Devil and avenge her friends. She charged forward, her speed exceeding hundreds of times the speed of sound. Sensing Cersei's terrifying energy, Sumu teleported in front of her. White and black energy swirled in his palm. Unlike the purple of the past, a lavender orb emitting black and white colors formed rapidly and slammed into Cersei's head. Caught off guard, Cersei tried to evade, but was still struck by Sumu. Her head, now harder than adamantium alloy, shattered instantly. Her despair, her hatred, her unwillingness, vanished in an instant. As he absorbed the energy, Sumu received a new notification, Energy absorption experience +1, Congratulations. Your skill energy absorption has been upgraded. His body underwent another significant transformation. This was his first level 5 skill. P.S. Mirror Dimension, keep reading. Chapter 86 Energy Absorption Level 5, Qualitative Improvement, finally becoming the father level. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 86, Energy Absorption Level 5, A Quantum Leap to Father Level. Energy Absorption LV5, 1/20,000 absorbs nearly all forms of energy within 65 feet, boasting incredible speed and storage. Can even manipulate nearly all forms of energy within a 32-foot radius. Dark energy surged through Sumu, reinforcing his body. Every cell transformed, ready to handle even greater power. His physical fitness soared, seemingly without limit. Initially, his strength came from Gojo Satoru's panel and energy absorption. While it improved him significantly, even without spell power or energy boosts, he still lagged behind powerhouses like the Hulk or the Eternals, but now, with energy absorption at level 5, his raw physical prowess rivaled, or even surpassed, that of a standard Hulk. Yet, this physical surge was just the tip of the iceberg. A tidal wave of information flooded Sumu's mind, threatening to overwhelm his will and damage his spirit. Level 5 energy absorption contained exponentially more information than level 4, this was a true game changer. Even his 6 eyes struggled to process this influx of memories, focusing instead on protecting him. It took an age for Sumu to fully assimilate the knowledge granted by level 5 energy absorption, then, a subtle shift in focus, *buzz, star, centered on him, everything within 65 feet froze. Sumu drained the energy between molecules, slowing their movement to a near standstill, the temperature plummeted, approaching absolute zero. Total molecular control. Furthermore, his ability to manipulate energy at the molecular level allowed him to absorb bioenergy or magic previously beyond his reach. Now, barring incredibly high-dimensional energies like the Phoenix Force, or abilities that directly break down matter at the atomic level, nothing could harm Sumu. The changes didn't stop there. The 3 Infinity Stones spun around him, their endless energies readily absorbed. He could now control the absorption rate, drawing power from the stones for extended periods, something previously impossible. Fueled by this immense energy, the template fusion accelerated. Template fusion, 14%, template fusion, 15%, template fusion, 16%, eventually, the fusion broke through, reaching 20%. And with that milestone, Sumu unlocked a new skill. Template fusion, 20%, new skill unlocked, Unknown Wings White. Unknown Wings White LV1, 1 out of 100 manipulate phase power in space to form perfect white wings, greatly enhancing the user's strength. Another torrent of information poured into his mind, but this time, Sumu handled it with ease. Moments later, radiant white wings unfurled behind him, and a luminous halo appeared above his head. He felt the boost from the Unknown Wings White, several times stronger than the Unknown Wings Black, but for him now, it wasn't a huge increase. The LV1 Unknown Wings provided a limited enhancement. He suspected that it would need to reach at least LV3 and the strength of Accelerator to provide a major upgrade. Nevertheless, Sumu was excited about the potential of the Unknown Wings. What level could they reach beyond accelerator? As Sumu adapted to the newfound power coursing through him, a portal shimmered into existence, and the Ancient One stepped through. Now, energy absorption could shrug off most magic. Based on his current abilities, Sumu had firmly entered father-level territory. Even if he couldn't defeat the Ancient One, he could certainly escape. The newfound confidence in his strength erased any discomfort he felt facing her. They were equals now. The Ancient One remained unharmed in the absolute zero environment, protected by a faint energy shield. Her gaze held a mixture of complexity, shock, and bewilderment. Even with the Time Stone, able to glimpse countless timelines, she couldn't fathom what had happened to Sumu. He'd improved significantly after their battle, and now he was even stronger than before. Faced with Sumu's constant evolution, even she had to tread carefully. However, centuries of training kept her from questioning Sumu directly. Instead, she slowly explained her purpose. Sumu, you killed all the Eternals. That will draw the attention of the Celestials. Even with your increased strength, even at the level of a father-level powerhouse, I still suggest you leave this planet as soon as possible, or even this universe, and travel to another dimension. Because even at the father-level, strongman is no match for the Celestials. Each Celestial possesses power at least on the scale of a single universe. If they catch you, they will judge you. If they decide you must die, they will kill you without resistance. That the Ancient One's expression was serious. She truly believed what she was saying, but she was also worried about Sumu's encounter with the Celestials. After all, Sumu was unpredictable. His strength was growing so rapidly that she even considered the possibility that he might be an incarnation of a multiverse-level entity. Even if he wasn't, an encounter with the Celestials carried too many unknown variables. Sumu's timeline was unique, she couldn't see his future. But she was certain that their interaction would trigger something that would shake the multiverse to its core. Either the Celestials would subdue and kill Sumu, or Sumu would kill all the Celestials, then slaughter the entire multiverse in the near future. For some reason, Ancient One instinctively believed the second option was more likely. Even if that future was no longer set in stone, the sixth sense she developed from countless journeys through the time stream told her that it would definitely move in that direction. While the Celestials had flaws, they were a crucial element in maintaining the stability of the universe, and were therefore indispensable. She'd foreseen the multiverse being slaughtered by the Celestials, so besides managing the aftermath of the battle and averting the deaths of mortals, Ancient One had only one goal, to send this menace to another parallel universe as soon as possible. Let him wreck other parallel universes, and leave this one alone. Chapter 87 Portal LV4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Gu-E, Sumu frowned, considering his next move. She was right. Now that he'd taken out Eternals on a celestial mission, those powerful beings would definitely target him. He might have power on par with a celestial now, but he still couldn't take them on. There was no telling when they'd arrive. If he stayed in this universe, he might eventually stand a chance against them, maybe even defeat them, given his rate of improvement, but that was a gamble. They could show up any minute, before he was ready. Then he'd be at their mercy, and Sumu couldn't stand that uncertainty, so he asked Ancient One, when are the Celestials coming to Earth? How much time do I have? The time stone on her chest flashed green. You're safe for about a month, but they could arrive any time after that. I suggest you leave before then and explore other universes. 1 month, Sumu figured that was enough to upgrade the portal to level 4, maybe even more. With a level 4 portal, he could travel between dimensions, giving him an escape route even if he faced the Celestials. Suddenly, Sumu had an idea. In the comics, there's a crossover universe between DC and Marvel, a place where the two multiverses connect. If that actually existed, he could use it to jump into the DC universe. And the DC universe was full of power sources, like mother boxes. If he could get his hands on those, he wouldn't have to worry about energy. Sumu had a feeling that if he ever encountered a character template so powerful it transcended a single universe and became multiversal, the Infinity Stone's energy wouldn't cut it anymore. He'd need something stronger, that made dimensional travel, even traveling between multiverses, essential. He was setting up a rough plan for the future, but first, he had to focus on upgrading the portal. At level 4, he could laugh in the face of the Celestials, and even if things went south, he could easily escape. Maybe he'd even end up right next to Stryker, crushing that little pest who'd been hiding in the shadows. More importantly, he didn't want to leave quietly. Even if he couldn't beat the Celestials, he'd give them a going-away present, and a portal that could cross dimensions was his best weapon. After thanking Gu-E and saying goodbye, Sumu went back to his beach house. It was 300 miles away from the fight with the Eternals, but still affected by the battle. Seawater had flooded part of the house, making it damp. But with the help of some Hollywood actresses, it was soon back in shape, so Sumu practiced using the portal. Flashes of light popped up around him as he tried to open portals, only to have them disappear. The system kept chiming, portal experience +1, portal experience +1, portal experience +1. Since he was just controlling it with his mind, Sumu could do other things while he practiced. It was easy for him to multitask. He opened a portal, and a stable doorway appeared, showing Tony Stark's lab. Tony had quickly repaired the arc reactor, thanks to his smarts, and he was back in his beach house, trying to figure out the nano-armor using the symbiote Sumu gave him. On the shelf behind Tony was a liquid armor that was constantly shifting, similar to the symbiote but different. It looked like he was making progress. Tony Stark jumped, startled by the voice behind him. He dropped his instrument and turned around, sighing in relief when he saw the portal and Sumu on the other side. Sumu, you scared me half to death. Sumu shrugged and offered a half-hearted apology. Sorry, I'll be careful next time. I have some good stuff here. I think you'll like it. Tony Stark was immediately distracted. The stuff Sumu brought was always rare and helpful. Compared to that, the earlier shock was nothing. What is it? Let me see. Sumu pulled the Eternals' bodies out of his pocket dimension and handed them over. These are the bodies of the Eternals, created by the Celestials. Their bodies are made of a special material, like living things but with mechanical parts. They're great at transferring energy and super strong. I think they'll be a big help to you. Maybe you can use them to build super powerful armor. What do you think? Awesome. Tony was thrilled when he saw the bodies. They could push his mechs to a whole new level. He paused, stunned. Looking at the bodies, he realized what had happened. You wiped out all the Eternals on Earth. Tony stared at Sumu, asking the question he couldn't believe. The Eternals were created by the Celestials. Each one was an incredibly powerful warrior with unlimited energy and the ability to survive in a vacuum. Even the weakest Eternal could level a small country, and Sumu had taken them out without breaking a sweat. He knew Sumu was strong, but this was beyond anything he could have imagined. After handing the Eternal bodies to Tony and trading them for a steady supply of steel armor, Sumu said goodbye and went back to training. Time flew by. The sun rose and set a few times. As Sumu was soaking up some rays, he heard a different system message. Portal experience +1. Congratulations, your portal skill has been upgraded. A flood of information rushed into his mind, and Sumu's understanding of space and energy deepened. When he processed everything, Sumu had mastered the level 4 portal. Portal LV4, January 1500. Consume magic power to open a portal to any dimension/any area in the universe. Magic power can be replaced by energy. After learning about the level 4 portal, Sumu grinned. Stryker, here I come. Mystique changes roles, Part 1. Chapter 88. Looking for Dear Colonel Stryker. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the portal hits level 4, it can jump between dimensions and parallel universes. Sumu now has a sixth sense about other universes. He feels their presence. He knows he can hop to these parallel worlds simply by opening a portal. Beyond dimension hopping, the level 4 portal unlocks other cool abilities too. Now, Sumu can teleport anywhere in his own dimension, even without specific coordinates. He can drop in on Stryker anytime he wants and take him out. Plus, the maximum portal size has been seriously upgraded. He could fit a whole mountain through one if he wanted. But the best part? Now he can create long-lasting portals by pumping a ton of energy into them. These aren't your everyday portals that need constant juice. These bad boys are self-sustaining, drawing power from the energy he's stored. As long as that energy holds out, or nobody messes with the portal, it'll stay open indefinitely. After absorbing all the new intel, Sumu opened the portal and checked his system panel. Name, Sumu. Template, Gojo Satoru, Complete Fusion, Accelerator. Energy absorption LV5, 1/20,000 can absorb almost any form of energy within a 65-foot radius, with extremely high absorption speed and energy storage limit. Can even manipulate almost any form of energy within a 32-foot radius. 6 Eyes LV4, January 5000 360-degree long-range vision, can see the flow of energy, amazing dynamic vision, perspective ability, allowing the holder to perform extremely fine energy operations. Forward technique Cang LV4, January 5000 generates intense suction, turns the distance between objects into negative infinity, and creates a mini black hole. Reversal technique LV4, January 5000 turns cursed energy into positive energy, has a strong healing effect, and reverses things to their original state. Can be used on others and inanimate objects. Reversal technique Hertz LV4, January 5000 generates repulsive force centered on Hertz. Minimum power is twice that of Cang, maximum output is positive infinity, like a baby supernova. Unlimited technique LV4, 3/5000 messes with matter at the atomic level and dominates space. The closer something gets, the slower it moves, never actually touching the user. Has partial control over space. Hypomorphic style LV2, 1/300 overlaps Cang and he to form imaginary mass, releasing energy waves that cut through space. Can also manipulate imaginary mass to a certain extent. Infinite space LV1, 1/100 pulls the opponent into the inner side of the limitless, forcing their brain to repeat perception in conduction endlessly just to live, generating tons of useless info, frying their brain and leaving them a standing vegetable. Only the host's touch grants immunity. Vector operation LV1, 1/100 controls the direction of most vectors and creates imaginary vector axes, including force, speed, acceleration, displacement, impulse, momentum, electric field strength, magnetic induction strength, etc. Unknown wings Black LV1, 1 out of 100 manipulates phase power in space to form black wings, greatly enhancing the user's strength. Unknown wings White LV1, 1 out of 100 manipulates phase power in space to form perfect white wings, greatly enhancing the user's strength. Portal LV4, January 5000 uses magic power to open a portal to any dimension/any area in the universe. Magic power can be substituted with energy. Mirror Space LV1, 1/100 creates a temporary dimension, cut off from reality. Anything that happens inside stays inside. Template Fusion Degree, 20%. Energy points, 888,888. PS. Just a reminder, the system panel is described once. Next complete description happens when accelerator is fully integrated. He dumped all his energy points into the accelerator template, bumping the fusion degree up to 28%. Sumu figured he'd unlock new skills when he hits 40%. Looking over his impressive skill set, Sumu felt a surge of satisfaction. He earned these abilities through hard work and dedication. He focused on energy absorption LV5. Level 5 was a whole new ballgame. Sumu also got a sneak peek at level 6. Hitting level 6 would unlock mass energy conversion, turning matter into energy and vice versa. It's basically a toned-down version of creating stuff from nothing, like being a god. Then he'd never be short on energy again and could plane hop without worrying about losing his powers thanks to some dumb world rule, but getting energy absorption to level 6 was going to be a grind. The XP needed was way higher, and leveling up would be way harder, but with the system on his side, Sumu was confident he could max out energy absorption and go even further. After getting his bearings, Sumu grinned, ready to have a little chat with his buddy Colonel Stryker. He focused, zeroing in on the karmic connection between himself and Colonel Stryker, and bam, a portal opened right in front of him. Sumu stepped through. He found himself in a swamp, the dense foliage hiding everything. Even seasoned soldiers would have a tough time spotting anything unusual. But camouflage was useless against his 6 eyes. Sumu instantly located the massive military base buried under the swamp, and deep inside, the sinister middle-aged man himself, Colonel Stryker. He could feel the space around him vibrating and the mutant suppression devices kicking into high gear, which meant he couldn't just waltz into the base. But who cares? All that effort was just delaying the inevitable. He held up his index finger, and a red and white singularity formed at the tip, radiating terrifying repulsive force that destroyed everything nearby. The bushes and swamp were instantly obliterated, exposing the outer wall of the military base. Even before the red and white singularity was fully unleashed, the tough metal wall started to buckle and collapse. Reversal technique hurts. The second Sumu appeared, a piercing alarm blared through the military base, warning everyone that the devil had arrived. Deep in the base's command center, Colonel Stryker heard the alarm and asked Mr. Fantastic, who was standing nearby. "Reed, what's going on?" Mr. Fantastic's face dropped when he heard the alarm. He quickly pulled up the security camera feeds. The cameras showed a scene of utter devastation. Everything was wrecked. The hidden military base was exposed, and all that painstakingly arranged camouflage was pointless. Up in the sky, the white devil floated in mid-air, a red and white singularity rapidly forming at the tip of his index finger, radiating terrifying energy and unstoppable repulsion. Mystique Changes Roles, Part 2. Chapter 89, Remarks on the Launch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey everyone, the book's about to drop. This is my first book hitting the virtual shelves here on Chidian, and I want to give a shout out to my editor, Xinghe, for patiently guiding this newbie. And a massive thank you to all of you readers. Seriously, without you, there's no book. You guys are what keep me going. Please check out the first few chapters and throw a little support my way. Okay, let's talk updates now that the book is live. I'll be posting 2 chapters a day from here on out, each around 3,000 words, for a total of 6,000 words daily. The release date kind of snuck up on me, so I'm a little short on pre-written chapters. But don't worry, I'm clearing my schedule and writing like crazy for launch day. Thanks for all the support, everyone. Chapter 90 The White Devil attacks, and Stryker flees in panic. Please pre-order. You are listening at novelfull.audio. White Devil. Mr. Fantastic instantly recognized the figure standing in the void. It was the White Devil, who had been a thorn in his side lately. Mr. Fantastic had always been a pretty confident guy. His intellect was off the charts, and he'd never run into a problem that his brain couldn't crack. The cosmic radiation had changed him, boosted his brainpower, and while he might seem chill on the outside, he was even more convinced of his own genius. He believed he was the smartest dude on the planet. He'd always thought that way, until the White Devil showed up. It started when S.H.I.E.L.D. came to him for help building weapons to take down the White Devil. He analyzed the guy's abilities and whipped up some countermeasures. Quick, Mr. Fantastic figured his space disruptor would be enough to screw with the space around the White Devil and mess with his near-invincible defenses. But after Ikari's tangled with the White Devil, his space disruptor was a joke. It didn't even scratch him. Next, he cooked up a matter-disintegrating lightsaber, thinking if they paired it with a speedster, they could drop the White Devil easy. Wrong again. The White Devil's reflexes were so fast he could keep up with the speedster and wasted him. That's when he realized the White Devil's power was growing as fast as his own, like there was no limit. So, to deal with the White Devil's escalating power, they made the Red Giant Potion. The Eternals, pumped up with that stuff, armed with the mutant suppressor and space disruptor, should have been able to kill him. Strike 3. The White Devil was improving too fast, beyond anything he could have imagined. It was the first time he felt completely in the dark. Colonel Stryker saw Mr. Fantastic standing there, lost in thought, and asked him, all nerves. Dr. Reed, what do we do now? Should we bail? No. Mr. Fantastic shook his head, turned to the others, and said seriously, first, we unleash the Red Giant. He buys us time. Then, we use my parallel world jump device to jump to another universe. Otherwise, the White Devil will catch us and we're toast. Ivan Vanko hesitated. But the Red Giant and the jump device are untested. There's a good chance they'll glitch out, and any malfunction could be a death sentence. We have no choice. The big boss shot back. The Hulk's blood had mutated him, his IQ was off the charts, and his brain was basically a supercomputer. Based on the White Devil's power and the base's defenses, he'd calculated they couldn't escape without being intercepted. They had to gamble that the Red Giant and the jump device worked, or they were done for, so, the Big Boss and Mr. Fantastic got on the same page fast. I agree with Dr. Reed. The Red Giant has to hold him off so we can use the jump device. And based on the Red Giant's current power, he might even seriously hurt the White Devil. In that case, we might even be able to finish him off with something else. Seeing how sure they were, Colonel Stryker took a breath and hit a button on the console. Deep in the base, a terrifying figure woke up, its cosmic energy and gamma rays instantly melting the steel that held it prisoner. After releasing the Red Giant, Mr. Fantastic and the others raced through the emergency tunnel to the deepest part of the base. There, a weird spiral door was humming, connecting to a parallel world. They needed to use the jump device to escape the White Devil. If they made it into the other world, they were safe. No matter how strong the White Devil was, he couldn't follow them there. Outside the base, an insane repulsive force blasted out from the red and white singularity, vaporizing everything. With a flick of Sumu's finger, the supernova hurtled down, leveling everything in its path. The base's metal walls were no match for the red and white singularity. They were shredded instantly, reduced to nothing. Even the adamantium alloys inside were twisted and warped by the massive force. The LV4 technique reversal, he already had some of the power of the virtual style Z. It was enough to tear space apart. Boom! The explosion ripped outward, obliterating everything. The woods and swamps within a few miles just vanished, leaving a wasteland. At the center, a massive crater hundreds of yards across gaped in the ground like a fresh wound. If someone stumbled on it later, they'd think a meteor had struck, but it was just the White Devil messing around. The base was gone, and the soldiers stationed there were wiped out by the repulsive force before they could even react. Not a trace of them remained. Mortals were so weak compared to gods. To them, Sumu might as well be one. The center of the crater wasn't empty. A room was still intact, shielded by a field that rippled with space energy, even though the shield was the best that Mr. Fantastic, the Big Boss, and Ivan Vanko could devise, and even though it wasn't a direct hit from the red and white singularity, it was wrecked. It flickered, and then it was gone. In the room, Mr. Fantastic stared at the dozens of arc reactors that had shut down simultaneously. What kind of power is that? It's like a mini supernova. We have to move, even the Red Giant can't hold him off for long. Besides the room, there was another survivor, a Red Giant. The singularity had blasted off his skin and half his body, but he was alive, and his skin was regenerating right before their eyes. The red figure stood 15 feet tall, covered in arc reactors that pumped energy into him. Sumu could sense that the reactors had fused with him, assimilated into his healing factor, able to regenerate. This was the ultimate weapon created by Mr. Fantastic and his team, the ultimate Red Giant. Facing an opponent like that, Sumu smirked. Interesting. P.S. Scenery outside the base.